Here we have a deficit Copenhagen. Beginners should start with the knee bent and on the bench as that offers you more support. Lower the hips to the floor, press that top leg into the ground, begin to lift the hips up and then squeeze the knees together. Here we have the advanced version, which involves a straight leg. Please only come to the advanced version when you feel ready to and when there is no knee pain. Next, we have incline side plank, knee to elbow, connecting the opposite knee to elbow, so we're working the adductor line, actually on both sides of the inner thighs. Next, we have plank, knee to elbows, nice and controlled, and then lifting the hips, keeping the core engaged, walking back to a forward fold position, bending the knees as needed. More advanced can go ahead and come into a decline plank position, trying to remain as steady and smooth throughout the whole process, meaning don't wag the hips side to side. We're going to go into about an 8-minute mobility flow, beginning with hands elevated on a bench or surface, going into an elevated happy puppy. From there, we're going to scoot in a little bit closer and go into one of my favorite stretches. And you're going to take some time here in the beginning just to settle in, to assess where your body is at, where your breath is at, where you are holding tension. We are placing the back of the elbows on the bench, palms are pressing together, and we are keeping some tension in the core until here, where we are starting to begin to extend and relax the torso, the ribs down towards the floor. As you do that, pull the thumbs towards the back of the shoulders, then create tension again, flatten out the spine, and then bring the hands back to the starting position. You are going to flow through this, so a nice relaxed state, bringing the thumbs towards the back of the shoulders, creating tension through the core, pressing back up to a flat back, bringing the hands back to the start position. As you're going through this, the target areas are the back side of the arm, so in that tricep area, along with the front side of the body. If you're holding any tension in the front line of the shoulders, this will for sure get into it. If your fingers, your hands start to go numb, go ahead and extend the hands towards the floor in front of you, just like so, and bring yourself back. From here, we're going to go into just some very, very simple neck rolls. So in a comfortable seated position, glancing over to the right shoulder, dropping the chin towards the shoulder alongside the collarbone area to the left shoulder, and repeating side to side. Notice if you bring your shoulders up towards your chin, you want to try to keep them pressing down. Notice if there's any particular extra source of tension in the neck. Breathe as we're going through all of these. Next, we're going to go into some variations of camel. So a kneeling all the way down on the heels, camel, really squeezing the elbows back and together. Hands are at the low back to provide a bit of support. Stay there or bring yourself up to a kneeling position. And again, hands along the lower back. Think of lifting the tailbone, lifting the sternum towards the ceiling. Again, squeezing the elbows back towards one another as you begin to tip backwards. There should be no pain in the lumbar spine. This should be a good front of the body opener. Staying here for as long as you feel necessary. Next, we'll be going into some simple cat-cows, flowing into down dog, and then trying to create a bit of a spinal wave, flowing to a plank position, lowering down to the floor, pressing up, and dropping back to the knees. Again, going into cow, lifting into cat, lifting the hips, pressing up and back into down dog. We're going to flow again, spinal wave if possible, towards a plank position, lowering down with control, pushing away, getting yourself back up to the top of that plank position, to the knees, again, flowing and flowing. You can flow through this as many times as you'd like, and really just make it your own. As you're going through your down dog, do try to tilt your sits bones up towards the ceiling. As you're going through the spinal wave to the front, see if you can articulate your spine, moving one vertebra at a time. With your cat-cows, of course, try to open up the chest as much as you can. in your cow, and then round the spine, engaging the TVA as you come into your cat position. If you're having trouble coming up from the floor from this position right here, you can of course come to the knees. Now we'll be going into some rolling cobras. So using the hands minimally, pulling the shoulders down away from your ears. I would love for you to think of inhaling, lifting yourself up, as you exhale, relaxing back down into the ground. And again, inhaling up, creating length through the tailbone, opening up the chest, exhaling and coming on down. Taking the arms out to a T position, we go into one of my favorites, scorpions. Let this be yours, right? So moving in a fashion that feels supportive to your body. I always like to try to get more of a chest and shoulder stretch here, so I do keep quite a bit of pressure in the extended arm, and I do tend to lift my head in a way that stretches and lengthens my neck a bit. You're going from side to side, listening to your spine, opening up your hips to the best of your ability, flowing, breathing, noticing where there's pockets of tension. From here, we're going to push up and back to down dog. We'll go into a 3-legged dog, lifting the right leg high. Try to keep those hips square, but if they open up, it's okay. From here, step the right foot up towards the outside edge of the right hand, and then peel open, reaching towards the ceiling. Maybe possibly using the back side of that right shoulder to help push the right knee open. If you'd like to go into a bind here, you absolutely can, but it is not necessary. Hopefully getting a big, deep, really juicy stretch through the adductors. If you're in your bind, release it, come up to warrior 2, I believe. Straighten that leg, extend out to a triangle pose. As we're here, breathe, try to release tension throughout the neck, rotating up, coming back to warrior 2, and then reversing your warrior. And from here, windmilling the hands down to the floor and go into your version of a chaturanga. As you are ready, we'll meet back in down dog. We'll inhale the left leg towards the ceiling. And as you're ready, exhale, try to lift, go into hip compression, that left foot up towards the outside edge of the left hand. From here, peeling open. We could call this in my opinion, this is a low lunge, an extended low lunge. Again, going into a bind if that's available to you, if that's where you'd like to take it. If the neck has tension looking up at the ceiling, feel free to look at the ground. Releasing the bind, pulling yourself back up to warrior 2. Straightening out that front leg, hinging forward, reaching with those front fingertips, and then landing in your version of triangle pose. Keep the hips nice and long, pull that top hip towards the ceiling. Excellent. Coming back into warrior 2, reversing your warrior. From here, again, windmilling the hands to the floor, stepping back, plank position, chaturanga of your choice. Open chest, pull the shoulders down away from the ears, leaning back into down dog. Breathing. We're going to wag a little bit side to side, get into some deeper side bends, hopefully flossing out those hip joints a bit. And this is where I leave you to go and flow.